All right, Dustin, can you tell me a little bit about your current farming situation? I know you have your own farm and then you also work on a pretty large operation. Could you just give like a high level overview of how you farm?
Yeah, okay. So I I manage the agronomy on a large farm that spans across Virginia and North Carolina. But then on my own, I've got about 100 acres, just row crop, corn, soybeans that I farm on my own, just a mile or two down the road from my house.
Great. Thank you. And what legal entity types are the farming operations that you work on and own?
Okay, so the one I work on is a general partnership um, between the parents and the children. They each have a corporation, and all the corporations together make the general partnership. On what I've got of my own, it's just an LLC.
Awesome. Thank you. And why did you choose an LLC for your own farm?
Because when I did it, I didn't really know what I was doing. And at a really basic level, it's like, okay, what can I do to kind of isolate this from maybe from everything else that I have? I didn't have a whole lot to start with, but I figured if I ever we crashed a tractor or broke something or messed up somebody else's land, we wanted to be insulated. My personal stuff be a little insulated from any kind of trouble that might get in. So we went the easy route and said, let's get an LLC.
Great. And so mostly just it sounds like you were solving for liability and just really making it a separate standalone entity for business and legal purposes.
Exactly.
Nice. Did you look into any other types of structures besides LLC?
Not enough. Um, we thought it was going to be around 100 acres. It's kind of ebbed and flowed. It might have been up to 130 or 140 at one point, and probably down to 70 at its lowest. So since there just wasn't that much there, I mean, at the end of the year, we're grossing 35,000. It's just not that much money. So for tax benefits, we didn't know that it was really going to make a lot of difference. Um, whether we went with another way of whether we did a corporation or it was two of us. So should we have just done just a general partnership? I think it was just easier to say the LLC is really straightforward and there's not that much money here that we've got to make decisions.
That makes sense. Do you have any advice for other producers about choosing an entity type for their operation?
Um, I think at the very beginning, if you're like we were, where it's again not that much land, not really that much money. Um, an LLC is easy, and again, it's what you said, it's the liability issue. Let's get that out of the way. Um, if you're going to grow, if that's your goal, or if you find yourself growing even though it wasn't your goal, I think it makes sense to talk to somebody who can help you make the right decision about how to structure the business so that it's ready to grow. Go to your accountant and say, "This is where we are. This is kind of the direction we're going. What makes the most sense to do now, so that we're not having to go back and fix things that we did wrong." Um, but in the real short term, the LLC made sense because again, we didn't have much, but we really didn't want to have a liability issue where we lost what little bit of money we started with.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Were there any implications of your choice of choosing an LLC on your ability to participate in FSA programs like loans, disaster relief, or other programs?
No, um, that really didn't matter. We checked whatever box we were, which was the LLC box. I think it was also, in a lot of those forms, it's LLC slash sole provider, um, because I guess in their eyes that's really the same thing. Um, there was no issue. We haven't gotten any USDA loans, but crop insurance, disaster programs, conservation contracts, we've done all that. had no issues.
Excellent. Did it change the paperwork requirements?
I don't think so, but
Hmm.
something tells me somewhere along the line I might have been, as we were not a corporation of any type, we might have filled out a different sheet than had we been, but it was all with the same goal, working on the same kind of stuff. It just might have had a few different questions, uh, being the LLC and just one or two people versus having an incorporated entity. It was really the same thing, maybe with a few different kinds of questions.
How many people are in your LLC?
Uh, Currently, it is two. It's me and one of the landowners.
Okay, great. And did you use any resources or tools to get the LLC set up?
No, we just went straight to the State Corporation Commission website, filled it out, sent a check for $50. We had an LLC.
Amazing. That sounds really easy. Would you describe it that way?
It was extremely easy, absolutely.
I bet the hardest part was picking a name.
It was because you can't just go change it. I mean, you can, but you got to pay to do it. That's no fun.
No fun at all. Awesome. Dustin, those are all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else that you want other producers to know as they think about this decision?
Um, the only thing I would say is don't sign up under just your own personal name. Um, it makes it tough going down the road, if you grow or if you want to participate in different programs. Um, it just really does make it easier to have some kind of partition between, you and what the farm or the business is. Um, Maybe it's just a feeling, but it does provide a little bit of definition. Okay,
You cut out there just at the
where
end.
it really did make a little more sense. It was easier to follow. You got me now?
I got you now. Yeah, you were just saying that it helped
Hello.
provide. Can
Okay.
you hear me? Okay. You were saying it helped provide more definition at the end?
Yeah, like a little more definition to like what the individual is versus what the farming entity is. Um, I've just seen a handful of times, you know, some of that paperwork, it just seems to all blend together when there is no real structure between the individual and the business name.
Hmm.
And especially if you're looking at it from a liability perspective, then it's easy for those things to get blurred together. And okay, which one is the LLC and which one is not? I think it just seems cleaner if you can start out two separate things to start with and carry that on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dustin. Um,
You bet.
I'm gonna just stop recording now.